What's going on, y'all? Coach Lenny here. And in this exercise video, I've got a low impact mobility workout for stiff bodies. Now, these videos are specifically for my elders in my community, my older adults. So we're thinking 50s, 65 plus age range, but without the ages. Anyone can do this video. It's for all fitness levels. And if you have a stiff body, then this video is for you. All you need is a chair, what I'm sitting in, about 10 to 15 minutes of your time, and let's get started. So we're just gonna come to the edge of our seat, sitting up nice and tall. And we're gonna begin with a small warm up, and then we'll get into our exercises and finish with a cool down. Sounds good? All right, let's go. So we're just gonna start with some seated marches, all right? And again, I like to come to the edge of my seat, sitting up nice and tall, moving my hands as if I'm walking, marching. I wanna make it seem similar to what I do on a day-to-day, okay? So making sure I'm lifting my feet all the way off the ground, thinking about raising my knees, okay? Here we go. Let's go side to side taps, all right? Now this warm-up is gonna be a little bit shorter than normal warm-ups, right? Because this exercise video is just about 10 to 15 minutes, okay? So we're not gonna take too long with the warm-up, just enough to get the blood flowing, get our bodies loosened, and ready for a couple exercises. Cool, here we go. Let's go with some front taps. And as I'm tapping, if you notice, I'm using the balls of my feet or my toes to reach out and tap. Again, still moving my hands, keeping that posture up nice and tall. I'm not rocking side to side, right? Because I want to use my core muscles. Here we go. Nice and easy. And let's bring it back to the taps, all right? Still moving the hands. This time with the hands, let's go with some arm circles just right below. So I'm keeping my lower body moving, right? And I'm just slowly, think about stirring a pot right beside you, right? Stirring a pot. Let's go the opposite direction, still keeping those feet moving, picking them up and down, right? There we go, good. So for you, if you start to feel that body warming up, you don't want to go too fast. Just gradually work your way into the warm up, okay? Shake that out there. Nice. And let's bring it on down. Let's move into some ankle swipes, all right? These are specifically for the hamstrings. I like to call them ankle swipes. So essentially, I'm just taking my hands and I'm reaching down and going all the way up at the edge of my seat, okay? And as I lean forward, I don't want to roll my back, right? I want to just keep my chest up, take my hands all the way down and up. This is for the back side of the legs, getting those hamstrings nice and loosened up. Sometimes we tend to have a little bit low back pain. Those hamstrings might be a little bit tight. All right, let's switch sides here. Okay. Go to that other side. Just keeping that heel down and my toe is up. I'm going as low as my body will allow me. But by all means, if you have to reduce the range of motion, do that, right? Don't go as deep, right? You're just here and you're going up. You're still getting in the same amount of movement, okay? Let's go back to that other side. We're gonna do everything twice today, just so that way we get a feel for it the first time, and then that second time we know what we're doing, all right? So again, these are just called ankle swipes. And as I move throughout this mobility exercises, I wanna make sure that I'm breathing, inhaling, and exhaling. I'm doing about 8 to 10 each side. There we go. Keeping my heel down and my toe up. Let's go one more time on this right side. And then we're going to switch to our left. So heel down. We're straightening out one leg. My knee is bent, okay? And I'm reaching with my hands, leading with my chest, keeping my chest up, a proud chest. And I'm coming all the way up. Again, if one side might feel a little bit looser than the other, that's totally normal, right? Just focus on the breathing aspect of this and where you feel tight, all right? We're hitting the lower body and we're going to work our way all the way up to the upper body, all the way to our neck. You'll start to notice some areas you might not be as tense as what you thought. But just focus on breathing and paying attention to the body. All right, let's go with some ankle circles. So I'm going back to my right side, sitting up nice and tall. And I'm just making a circle with the toes of my feet, right? Just making a circle going counterclockwise, going clockwise. Feeling that ankle joint. What does it feel like? Is it stiff, right? Again, I'm making a pretty trying to make a pretty big circle, right? If the circle is a little bit small for you, no worries, right? This is mobility. This is how we increase it. Let's go the opposite direction. There we go. Good. Focusing on breathing in. I don't have my leg way up here. I don't have it placed on the ground. I just have it right above the floor. Okay? Doesn't have to be too high. We don't want to work harder than what we need to. Okay? There we go. Let's go to the other side. Switching legs here. Going my left one. Going with the clockwise. I want to think about if I had a pin in between my toes and I wanted to make a circle. All right? I'm drawing the biggest circle that I can make. There we go. Nice and easy. And let's go the opposite direction now. Mobility is good for our ankles, our knees, our hips, all over, not just the joints, but the muscles as well, right? And we'll notice that sometimes when we sit a lot or when we walk a lot, we do some of the same repetitive motions. Our ankles and our joints never get the love that they need. There we go. And relax. There, we're going to go back. Remember again, because we're doing everything twice. This way. Breathe in. Nice and easy. And coming back to the other side, going counterclockwise. Noticing after that first time that you do it, maybe that second round you feel a little bit looser. All right, so let's just pay attention to the body as we're moving through this mobility workout. Notice how you began stiff, right? Maybe it was in the shoulders, maybe it was in the ankles, maybe it's in the hips. But by the time you finish this workout, by the time you do the second round of these exercises, you're already going to notice a difference. That's the thing about exercise, right? It's that natural medicine, right? It not only boosts our mood, not only makes us feel better, but also makes us stronger, right? It's about the consistency. There we go. Let's go the opposite direction last final time. Then we're going to move to some seated hip circles. There we go. Nice. And come back down nice and easy. And now we're going to move into some hip circles here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to rotate at the hips, right? Making a nice circle here. You can place the hands on the knees, okay? Now, again, my movement, I'm going out super wide as I can, but listen to your body, all right? What will your body allow you to do? Is it just a little bit of small circle here, slowly, right? Is one side tighter than the other? If so, don't force your body into any of these movements. Just go nice and easy, all right? Let's go counterclockwise now. These are called hip circles because I'm making a circle with my hip, going around. There we go. Nice and easy. Feeling how it feels on the body. Notice that when you go back, right, you're using that core, right? We're not leaning against that chair when we come forward. All these movements should feel good. Nothing should feel painful to you. If it feels painful, ease up, right? Don't go as big. Don't go as wide. Let's go back to the opposite direction here. And remembering, don't forget, the most important thing is to breathe as you're doing this. Inhaling and exhaling, sending breath to the body. A lot of times when we're stiff, right, it's because we've been tense, right? Maybe stress in the body. I don't know. Maybe you work a strenuous job, right? But right here, when we're doing intentional exercise, intentional mobility, we want to make sure that we're breathing throughout it, trying to loosen up and relax the muscles, create range of motion, that type of range of motion that we don't normally do on a day-to-day. Let's go with some torso twists now. Get the core a little bit involved. Just nice and easy. Hey, notice that I'm moving with my core. Hey, I'm not just taking my arms and swinging them side to side. Remember, intentional movement, right? So I want to twist with my entire torso, going left to right. And I'm breathing, keeping my arms close to my body, going side to side. Nice. And do what feels comfortable to your body, right? If just a little twist, just like this, hey, by all means, do that, right? If you want to make a bigger twist, you feeling real good, right? That body should be nice and warm. Maybe you're working up a little sweat. I don't know, right? But we're just going with some nice torso twists side to side. Good. Very good. Nice. Let's bring that down. Now let's go working. I told you we're working our way all the way up. Started with the ankles. Now we're up to our shoulders, okay? Let's go with some shoulder rolls. So we're just going to bend my elbows 90 degrees, and I'm going to roll back, up and down, nice and easy. Again, this is a mobility exercise. We're working on increasing our range of motion in our joints, ligaments and muscles. Here we go. Trying to reduce some tension in the body and release that stress, release that stiffness. All right. If you've been traveling, all right, or if you've been cooped up in the house, this is a good exercise to turn on and always revert back to. Nice. Let's go the opposite direction, raising those shoulders and dropping them down. Remember that pin or that circle reference I used earlier? If I had a pin attached to, you can keep going, attached to my shoulder, it was sticking out, right? And I was drawing a circle. I want to try to draw the biggest circle that I can with my shoulders. And I'm breathing all while doing this movement. Good. Let's go the opposite direction one more time. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Now the shoulders tend to be a lot more tense than the rest of the body, right? This is where we tend to carry a lot more of our stress, right? We're always cooped up or maybe on our phones or maybe on the computer or maybe even driving, right? This is a good exercise to do right here. Let's go back to the opposite direction. One final time. We're going forward shoulder rolls. Good. And then we're going to work our way down to our wrist. Nice and easy. Very good. Inhaling down, exhaling. Almost done. We got a couple more, and we're going to conclude with a nice little cool down. Very good. Let's shake that out. Good. Should be feeling nice and loose by now. Let's work our way to our wrists. Okay. Again, told you we're starting from the lower body, working our way all the way up. Going with some wrist circles here, showing love to our wrists. All right. How many times a day do we just do this? This is good for those stiff wrists, stiff joints. Sometimes we're always on our phones or maybe even crocheting, knitting, painting. I don't know what your hobbies are, but this is a good exercise just to kind of implement as you go throughout your day. Let's go the opposite direction. And I'm paying attention to how do my wrists feel? Are they really loose? Right? If that is you, perfect. They're super tight, then take your time with this. Spend a little bit more time here. And again, we're all about listening to the body, doing things safely, effectively, and most importantly, with intention and ease. There we go. And back again. One final time, each direction, making circles with our wrists. I don't want to move my shoulders and my arms with it, right? I'm just here, keeping my arms close to my body, focusing on moving from the wrist joint only. There we go. Nice and easy. And let's shake that out. Our final mobility stretch here, we're going to go with some neck stretches, just again, because we tend to be a lot stiff up in here. So I just want to loosen you up a little bit there. All right, so let's just look left and look right. Our neck, the cervical aspect of our spine, is a super sensitive area, especially the older we get. So if for whatever reason you're not able to turn all the way right or all the way left and it feels discomforting, reduce the range. You don't have to look all the way left and all the way right. Just turn just a little bit one way and then the other way. Don't want to move super fast, right? Get a little bit dizzy. I get motion sickness, so I'm not going to do that, right? But just nice and easy, super slow. And as you continue to do this, you will notice how the body begins to loosen up. The tension starts to leave your neck. Yeah. The more you do this, right? And it might become, maybe not in this segment, right? Not in this video, not in this workout, but as time goes on, the more that you do these intentional movements, you'll start to notice a difference in the neck muscles relaxing, right? Not as tense. Very good. Nice. And relax there. Good. Let's go with a few final stretches and we're going to conclude this mobility workout for stiff bodies. We're just going to go with a shoulder stretch here. We're going to bring our right across our chest, take our left hand and press it against the back of our arm, which is also our tricep, and relax the shoulders down and hold. Inhaling and exhaling. When it comes to stretching and your cool down, right, just much like the warm up when you want to get your body prepared for the workout, the cool down is just as important because you want to reset your body to where you began, right? Feeling better than you began, but bringing that heart rate back to steady state, body temperature back down to a normal steady state. Good. And we'll release that, shake that out. Let's bring the left across the chest, take the right hand, press it against your tricep, the back of the arm, And we're going to relax the shoulders down and hold right here. And in your cool down specifically, you want to make sure that whatever stretches you're doing, much like the exercises, that everything feels good. It doesn't feel painful, right? If anything feels painful, especially when you're stretching, you want to back off or you want to reduce the motion or the exercise that you're doing. And so for me, this stretch feels pretty good. It feels almost like a pool, a nice pool. And so I'm holding it, going a little bit deeper just because I like the feeling of it and it feels good to my body, right? But if it felt tight, I wouldn't force myself into that exercise or I wouldn't force myself into doing that stretch. All right, let's go with this hamstring stretch. So we're going to extend my right leg. My heel is down, my toes are up. I'm placing my hands on the opposite knee and I'm leaning forward into this, keeping my chest up and my shoulders are relaxed away from my ear and I'm breathing. Looking down at the ground. I don't want to look up because I don't want to strain my neck. We just did all that mobility exercise. Why we want to go right back into straining and stiffening and tensing up the body, right? So stay relaxed. Focus on breathing. You should feel this behind your leg right here, keeping my chest up, leaning into this hamstring stretch. Nice. And release that there. Come up nice and easy. Let's switch sides. Heel down, toes are up, either towards the ceiling or back, pulled, facing me. My hands are on the opposite knee, and I'm hinging forward, leaning forward with my chest, keeping it up. And I'm just looking right down at the ground. Nice. And so as we finish with this final stretch, I just want to congratulate you for taking the time out to spend about 10 to 15 minutes of intentional movement for yourself, for loosening up your joints and your bones, and for adding just a little bit more strength to your body. And we'll release that. Nice. Now let's gather for 3 big deep breaths and we'll close out. We're going to inhale up, taking the hands above the head, exhale down. We're just trying to bring and ensure that the heart rate comes back down to steady state. Inhale up and exhale down. One final big deep breath that you got. Inhale up and exhale down. And a round of applause for yourself. Workout complete. Nice job for getting in some intentional movement for yourself, adding more stronger, healthier, and independent years to your life just by doing and dedicating 10 to 15 minutes. That's all it takes. If you enjoyed this video and you want to continue doing more low impact, joint friendly, safe, and effective exercises, follow along, subscribe to my page, and stay tuned for more videos like this. See you on the next one.